Okay, sounds great.
This meeting is being recorded.
Mom, there's closed captioning on the bottom that you can read it. You can read what she's saying on the screen.
Okay. Okay, Ashley, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is, I'm sorry, I cannot see you, but I can hear you. I hope you can see me and hear me as well. My name is Ashley, and I work as a planned giving specialist for the Resurrection Foundation at United Methodist Church of the Resurrection in Leawood, Kansas. The Resurrection Foundation is a separate nonprofit organization that supports resurrection with planned giving ministry. Each and every day, I have the opportunity to connect with donors who are creating their own unique answer to the question, how can we help God transform God's world through planned giving? Now, if you are anything like me, having served in small and medium-sized churches since 1998, at this point in a presentation, I might go, planned giving sounds amazing. I don't have the money to hire a planned giving specialist. I'm busy with preaching. I'm busy with teaching. I'm busy with running our ministry fund campaign we use on an annual basis. Planned giving ministry is a little bit out there for me. If that is you, today I'd like to change your mind, because at Resurrection, we truly believe that planned giving ministry can impact your congregation today and in the near-term future. First and foremost, we really believe that planned giving ministry has a discipleship impact on the lives of the planned giving donors and on the lives of those that our planned giving donors love. First, our planned giving donors, when they make the decision to create a planned gift in support of resurrection, they have the opportunity to create a theological impact. They can give back to God a portion, perhaps a tithe of all that God has generously given to them throughout their lives. Second, at Resurrection Foundation, they have the opportunity to create a ministry impact. They can choose from a fund or several funds at the Resurrection Foundation that they would like to support with their generosity to support the ministries or missions that are most important to them. And third, they can create a generational impact. Just imagine each member of your congregation making the decision to create a planned gift in support of your church and how that's modeling extravagant generosity for their children, for their grandchildren, for their nieces, for their nephews, for their friends, for their family members, and even other church members. Planned giving ministry makes an impact on the lives of the planned giving donors and on the lives of those they love. In addition to the impact that planned giving makes on the lives of the donors, it has a congregational impact. Now, according to the Center for Economic Development and Business Research, I'm a Kansan, so right here in the state of Kansas, and the next 20 years, that's about this long, it's not very long, there's going to be a $300 billion wealth transfer from one generation to the next. Of that $300 billion, the Center for Economic Development and Business Research also asserts that $12.5 billion of that generosity will be shared with charitable organizations. Churches typically receive 29% of all generosity, or churches and religious organizations, to be specific. That's $4.5 billion of generosity right here in Kansas for churches and other religious organizations if we are simply asking. Planned giving ministry makes a difference in your church today, in the lives of your donors today, and in the lives of your congregation in the near-term future. If I have you convinced that you'd like to learn a little bit more, I'd like to share how to start your own planned giving ministry. First and foremost, the most important step to starting any fantastic ministry at your church is to create a strong team. Now you're going to say, is this the same people that I asked to start every team in our church? It might be. It probably is. It could be. We don't know. Here's who you want seated on your planned giving ministry team. One, you want members who live generously. You know those people in your church that are just consistently generous with their financial resources in their living giving? They make fantastic friends for your planned giving ministry team. Second, consider people who serve as planned giving professionals, people who are attorneys, financial planners, accountants. If they have experience in those fields, they could be fantastic assets to your planned giving ministry team. And third, persons who are over the age of 50. And you may say, why? Well, you know what? They need to do their own planned giving if they haven't done so already. And this might be an opportunity for them to consider being extravagantly generous with your congregation by getting involved in the plan giving ministry team. In addition to having the right church members or church friends on your team, you're also going to want to consider having an expert. Now, in Nebraska, just like in Kansas, we are very fortunate as United Methodist to have the Nebraska United Methodist Foundation to support our work in plan giving ministry. You can utilize the Nebraska United Methodist Foundation to help you create written guidelines, to help you update your gift acceptance policy, to help you establish your endowment fund, and to help you serve your donors. You don't need an Ashley Cheung in your life. You need the Nebraska United Methodist Foundation in your life. So rely on an expert, rely on a beautiful ministry team, and let's get started. At this point, we're going to talk about some tools you might need to create your plan giving ministry. Of course, if possible, you're going to want to have a simple, straightforward website, information that donors can go to retrieve information about your plan giving ministry. We have resurrection.church/foundation. I'm going to encourage you to go take a peek at our website, and there's one page on there I really want you to peek at, actually two, but the one I really want you to peek at is our FAQ page. On the FAQ page, we have taken many of the questions we often get asked by plan giving donors and put together kind of a document they can use when they're discerning their own planned gift in support of resurrection. We also have a planned giving slide deck that I utilize when I'm sitting down with donors one-on-one about their generosity. If we have a moment at the end, I will show that to you, but if not, we do utilize a slide deck that gives folks information about planned giving that basically reflects what's on our website. And then third, we have a planned giving brochure. And this is just a takeaway that we have scattered throughout the church, that we utilize on Legacy Sunday, that we utilize when I meet with planned giving donors so they have a takeaway. These tools are helpful in creating a planned giving ministry. In addition to having some great marketing tools, you're going to want to think about a robust communication strategy. First and foremost, when you are starting your plan giving ministry, we do this every year, but when you are starting your plan giving ministry, you're going to want to consider doing this too. Once a year, Pastor Adam preaches a beautiful legacy sermon as a part of worship. It's typically around stewardship time. Sometimes it's not. This year we had it on Memorial Day. On that same Sunday, when he's inviting every member and friend of Resurrection to consider a planned gift in support of the church, we also have volunteers at each of our 6 locations to answer questions, to help people sign up for more information, and to pass out brochures and impact reports for the donors. We call that Celebration Sunday. We're very creative, as you can tell. In addition to Legacy Sermon Sunday, which again happens once a year, a few times throughout the year, we are consistently feeding Pastor Adam's stories of planned giving impact. So when we have a special story about how a planned gift has especially blessed the church, or a special donor story about why a donor is creating a planned gift, we pass those stories on to him. And so throughout the year, you're going to hear drip, drip, drip stories of planned giving impact. So that if you're in church on Sunday and you hear a story about Miss Sally leaving a planned gift in support of the back snack ministry at Resurrection, you might consider on Monday what you want to accomplish with your planned gift. So throughout the year, you're going to hear stories of planned giving impact in worship. In addition to worship, we also have a care component to our planned giving ministry. And while I am hired to do this part of the work, this is a job that a layperson, a staff person, or a pastor can do as well, depending on the size of the congregation. I meet one-on-one with members who are interested. I simply meet with them and have the opportunity to share what it means to leave a planned gift, to share strategies for leaving a planned gift, to talk practical issues around leaving a planned gift. And this is really, really special. When you're meeting with a donor about their ministry fund gift, your lead donors about their ministry fund gift, this is a great time to ask them, have you considered leaving a planned gift? Because again, $4.5 billion of assets are going to be transferred from one generation or two, could be transferred to religious organizations through one generation to the next over the next 20 years in Kansas. And I'm sure that Nebraska has some similar numbers. In addition to care, I also highly recommend looking at some discipleship opportunities. First and foremost, twice a year, Resurrection Foundation offers free estate planning seminars for our church members. Those are online. They're hosted by local estate planning attorneys. and they simply present broad, big picture information about estate planning. And then they encourage each person who participates to go find their own estate planning attorney and utilize that person to create their estate plan. In addition to estate planning seminars, again, those are free and those are hosted by volunteer attorneys. We also have a really special group called the Resurrection Foundation Legacy Society, and that's what we're going to spend the rest of our time talking about today. This beautiful group is a group of every person who's left a planned gift in support of resurrection. They have the opportunity to join our Legacy Society either as a public member or as a private member, which means that they receive the information, but we don't bug them. But our Resurrection Foundation Legacy Society has some really great components to it. First and foremost, you might be saying, how do you know if someone's leaving a planned gift? Great question. So we use a document at the Resurrection Foundation called a donor declaration. If you hear nothing else from this conversation, I want you to hear this. It's really important when Miss Sally walks up to you on Sunday and says, Pastor, church leader, I loved what you taught us in worship last week about planned giving ministry. I am meeting with my estate planning attorney this week. I'm going to leave a tithe of my estate to the church. In addition to telling Miss Sally how grateful you are for her generosity, you also want to make sure to record her wishes. So this document that we use at the Resurrection Foundation records demographic information on our donors. It records where the gift is coming from. So you can see right here, a will or a trust, life insurance, an IRA retirement or investment account, charitable remainder trust, cash or securities, or other. So they let us know where the gift will be coming from. Sometimes they mark more than one box if it's coming from more than one place. They also let us know right here what the approximate amount of the gift would be as of today. And the reason why we need to know that, you might say, is that really that important? And I have donors ask me that question all the time. We simply want to know kind of a ballpark figure because if they say their gift is for $100,000 and a gift for $500,000 shows up at the church at some point, we want to be able to contact their trustee or their beneficiary or their family member and say, we want to make sure this is correct. So it's just a kind of a check and balance to make sure that the gift that we receive is the gift that they feel called to give. In addition to letting us know about the gift amount, where the gift is coming from, we do ask them to provide us with information on their beneficiary, family member, or executor. And then that way we know who to thank when the generosity arrives at Resurrection Foundation. As well, on this awesome document, our donors have the opportunity to let us know what fund or funds they want to support at Resurrection. Now, we're a pretty big foundation and connected to about 500 members who have already set aside a planned gift for Resurrection. We have 25 funds that we steward at the Resurrection Foundation. I want to be super clear. That's a lot. In most churches are going to want to have 1, 2, 3, at the most, maybe 5 funds. The 5 funds I would encourage every church to consider: 1, an unrestricted fund, of course. So we're on the front page here. We also at the Resurrection Foundation have what we call vision funds. Changing Lives, which is listed right here, supports worship and discipleship ministries at Resurrection. The Strengthening Churches Fund supports seminary scholarships and leadership ministries at Resurrection. Transforming the World Fund supports missions at Resurrection. And then we also invite every donor to consider a tithe of their planned gift in support of facilities and maintenance, because if the churches are falling down around us, we can't do good ministry. Those are the funds that many churches may want to consider: a worship fund, a mission fund, perhaps a leadership fund. But we at Resurrection Foundation, because we're a little bit bigger foundation, we have the opportunity to have a few other funds. And we also have the opportunity to allow donors to create a fund. Now, I want to let you know that if a donor wants to create a fund in support of Sunday school ministry, for example, we have some really kind of rigorous fund minimums, because we want to make sure that any gift we receive is a gift that we can utilize for more than 1 year and a gift that we can utilize in really impactful ways. If they want to set up an endowed donor restricted gift, so they are the donor, they've restricted it to a certain area of ministry. Endowment gift, we do a 4% draw with a 12-quarter look back, which means we look back over 12 quarters to make sure the market's been solid. Then we create their gift. We have a $250,000 minimum on that because that provides $10,000 of ministry impact every year in perpetuity. If a donor is not interested in doing an endowed gift, but wants to do a non-endowed gift, our gift minimum is $50,000. And that again provides a 5-year, $10,000 ministry impact or more, depending on how the market's going, for our donor to make an impact at the church. We really feel like $10,000 a year can create a significant swing in a ministry. So that's why we've set those dollar amounts. About 90% of our generosity, though, I want to be really clear, goes into these 5 funds over here: the unrestricted fund, the vision funds, and the facility maintenance fund. We don't have a lot of donors that want to do something really specific because they see what they want on the front page with these vision funds primarily. Okay, that's how we find out if they want to join the Resurrection Foundation Legacy Society. They fill out their donor declaration. They're invited to be a part of the Resurrection Foundation Legacy Society. I'm going to go through some ways that we kind of connect with them throughout the year. And these are all transferable to every congregation. Once a year, we produce a 2022. Well, that was only in 2022. But every year we produce an impact report for the Resurrection Foundation. And this is our impact report in paper form. But you can actually find it on our website, again, resurrection.church/foundation. Click impact report and you can see the living, breathing digital copy of this. And we actually included 4 video stories of donors in that. So I actually highly recommend taking a peek at it. This is our document we use every year to really inspire people to consider how they want to help God transform God's world through their planned gift. In addition, every 3 months, we produce what we call a director's report. So Debbie Nixon has been at Resurrection for like 30 years, and she's our executive director. And so every 3 months, we produce a director's update email, just sharing updates about what's happening at the Resurrection Foundation. So this is an example of one of those. In addition, we have a great teammate who is way more digitally savvy than I am. And a couple times a year, she'll produce a kind of just thinking about you card. This was our Merry Christmas card this past year that we sent out digitally. We also did a Valentine's Day card. And on these Merry Christmas and Valentine's Day cards, we always give donors the opportunity to reach out to us with questions or to update their donor declaration. So these are just great touch points throughout the year. As well, a couple times a year, again, all scaled to the size of the church, a couple times a year, we have special events. Last year, we had 2 special events, and this was one of them. It was called a Special Evening with Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith is actually a medical doctor in Kansas City, but he also happens to be very, very talented and has a huge heart for Jesus. And so he sings as well at the church as a volunteer. He published a CD last year, and so we hosted a concert in support of Cameron, and he shared his testimony. Down here in the corner, you see a photo of one of our seminarians sharing his testimony with our director, Debbie. And so just a touch point throughout the year, it was very simple. All we bought was desserts. We had free music, and seminarians come in and share their experience as seminarians that are supported by the Resurrection Foundation. We had one more event. This is a little bit more spicy. And that was a bus trip from Leawood to downtown. We took 110 guests, volunteers and staff, to a private tour of the World War I museum downtown. And then we had lunch at Resurrection downtown. And they got to hear from some of our mission partners downtown. They got to hear from our location pastor downtown and just got to have a great time. This was completely fellowship-based and just an opportunity for people to connect with one another and to hear great stories about Resurrection Foundation impact. So I have 3 minutes left on our time clock to be done at 10:30. I'll open it up. If anybody has any questions, I would be happy to answer those.
Ashley, we're still here, but apparently no one has a question.
That's okay. I hope I didn't talk too fast. That tends to be the only complaint I ever get from Pastor Adam, as I talk too fast.
Ashley, are the documents that you showed on the screen, are they also available on your website?
Yes, they are. So the donor declaration is on the website, both in digital form and in PDF. I want to be clear. as you start your plan giving ministry, the most important thing to do is to make sure you're recording the wishes of your donors. And here's why. Prior to working at Resurrection, I served for 5 years as a plan giving specialist, well, as a major gifts donor for a university. And if we don't have the wishes of our donors recorded, we don't know precisely what they want to accomplish with their generosity. And when I was at Wichita State, serving as a plan giving specialist and major gifts donor for them, there was a couple times that we had to go back and kind of work with the family to discern what they would want to accomplish with their generosity. And it's just much easier to have the donor let you know what their plan gift looks like, what they're hoping to accomplish, and how they want to help God transform the world through their generosity. And so that donor declaration, copy it. If you would like me to send it to you personally in a Word document so you can change it to your church, I'd be happy to do so. I know that the Nebraska United Methodist Foundation is very, very supportive of all of your ministries, and they would be thrilled to help you in any way, shape, or form. And I bet they would even be happy to help you to kind of put together a donor declaration if that might be helpful possible. But I highly recommend get that donor declaration in place as you start your plan giving ministry. Oh, and I want to say one more thing. The Resurrection Foundation is a separate nonprofit from Resurrection. We set it up that way in 2002. 99.9% of churches do not need to have a separate nonprofit organization to support their plan giving ministry. I highly recommend working with the Nebraska United Methodist Foundation to set up your endowment, to set up your endowment committee, that plan giving ministry team. But don't feel obligated to go all the way to setting up your own nonprofit organization. That's not necessary. It wouldn't actually even be necessary at Resurrection. It was just the way it came. It was set up in 2002. Any other questions I can answer? It's so weird not being able to see y'all. Well, may God bless you. May God bless your ministry. May God's light shine upon you as you go forth from this place. I hope that each of you can take away something from this special day that will inspire generosity in your congregations. God is calling us to help God transform the world, and you get to be a part of that as a leader. And I just pray blessings over each and every one of you. I am on my way to a doctor's appointment with my son today, so that's why I couldn't be with you in person. But otherwise, next time we are coming to what we call in Kansas City, Nebraska nice. So we'll look forward to visiting you in person next time.
Gotcha. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now where we're supposed to go. Next door.